There are some episodes of Arthur where the message or the moral is maybe not as obvious, it's not as in your face. But when it comes to Arthur cleans up, it definitely is in your face, but rightly so, and it works very well. This is the second segment in the 25th episode of the very first season, and Buster and Arthur are walking through the park and they declare that it's a dump, and there's litter everywhere. And off the back of that, Arthur kind of accidentally, against his will, forms a cleanup brigade. And he is supposed to round everybody up so they can go to the park one day and collect all of the rubbish. But needless to say, most people are not very keen on doing that. They're very reluctant. Will Arthur be able to gather enough people to clean up the park, or will it always just remain a tip? I'll discuss the ending in a moment with some spoiler details, but obviously the message here is that you shouldn't litter. And there are various points throughout this that really drive that home. A particularly emotional episode with Pal that I won't say too much about. But it definitely made it very clear that littering is wrong. And what I really liked about it, there's this one moment where this child asks his mother, what should I do with my rubbish? They're having a picnic in the park, they're getting ready to go, and the mother just ignores the question and tells her son to hurry up. And obviously the child just discards the rubbish on the floor and runs after his mother. And I really like the fact that I was saying it's not just kids who leave trash lying around. Adults have a responsibility too, and often adults don't really care and don't think. And obviously in this day and age things are a bit better, we're a bit more mindful of recycling and tidying up after ourselves. But when this aired in the 90s, definitely, not where we are today. And I thought the message worked very well without being too preachy. Nobody was looking at the camera saying you need to stop littering. You could distance yourself thinking that it wasn't for you if you don't litter, while still enjoying the message. And if you do litter, you shouldn't, but if you do, I think the message is pretty clear. So obviously we have a spoiler from now. I'm going to discuss the ending, and it's the fact that, well, there were two things. One, not so much of a spoiler, but I liked the fact that we got to meet Francine's father a lot more, and Arthur got to learn a lot from him as a sanitation engineer. I thought that was a very clever way of giving us some facts and some information. And then the spoiler, of course, with what happens when Arthur's at the park and he encounters the tough customers, and the tough customers littering and basically choking Pal. And I loved it when Arthur just snapped and demanded that the tough customers start cleaning up. In reality, I don't think they would have listened to him, but in terms of the episode, I'm glad they did, and I thought it worked very well, and it was very entertaining to see, but also very moving. And I liked the fact that something had stirred that passion in Arthur and had made him find the courage and confidence he needed to demand that people take action. And I rather liked that side of him. So it worked very well. Arthur Cleans Up is a very important episode because of the message in it. Unfortunately, it's still timely, still prevalent today. It shouldn't be, but unfortunately it is. But regardless, it's a pretty decent segment and one that I really enjoyed.